Hey guys, this is BROTHERHOOD, and today we're going to look at another Force-using organization that has been brought back into canon thanks to the visual dictionary for the Rise of Skywalker. In Legends, there are a number of other Force-using organizations outside of the Jedi Order, and they are now canon. You can watch my other videos on the Aing T and the Falanasi, and I'll put links to them in the description. We know that the Dai Bendu monks are canon because they built settlements and a monastery on Kijimi 1,000 years before it was visited by Rey. They had long left the planet, but it was also a site of pilgrimage for the Brotherhood of the BEATIFIC Countenance, the red-robed religious group who were also pilgrims to Jeddah. These pilgrims even were also cleared out by the rise of the thieves and mercenaries on the planet, but the influence of the Dai Bendu remained in names like Monk's Gate, where Poe Dameron was spotted and reported to Zori Bliss. Apparently in the novelization for the Rise of Skywalker, it's also been stated that they were the precursors to the Jedi, which is interesting, and also there's a role-playing sourcebook which infers that they were the creators of the first holocrons. So I imagine some of you, if you're watching this and you're not familiar with Legends history, but you are with canon, you're probably thinking about the Bendu and whether it has any connection. Now, I can't actually answer that, and maybe that will be revealed in canon at some point. There could well be. But the name Bendu actually goes back to George Lucas's original script for Star Wars, where the Jedi were named the Jedi Bendu. Now, obviously, the Bendu part was later dropped, but the Jedi Bendu name has been picked up by various creators in order to sort of honour his original legacy. If you want to see more about his original vision, I would highly recommend reading The Star Wars, a comic by Dark Horse Comics, written by J.W. Rinsler, which basically adapts George Lucas's first draft original screenplay. So if you want to see how Star Wars has evolved from its original concept, I would definitely read that. So their significance as an order is more out of universe, really, and they've only really had slight appearances and mentions. So they were first appeared as statues in the game Episode 1 Racer, and then they were identified as precursors to the Jedi in the Attack of the Clones reference book, as their symbol was on the Jedi starfighters. Now, they got more fleshed out in the series Dawn of the Jedi, and we'll jump back into universe now to kind of get a bit of their Legends history. The Dai Bendu monks were active at least 38,000 years before the Empire. They were among the first to explore the Force, discover midi-chlorians, and build a philosophy around the light and dark side. At some point in their history, they migrated to Andobi Prime to study an object strong in the Force which they called a Tho-Yor. Millennia later, it opened and carried the Bendu monks and other Force sensitives from other worlds to TYTHON. On TYTHON, they mingled with other Force sensitives and other cultures and formed the Jedi Order. Now, Dai Bendu philosophy and thinking was highly influential in forming the Jedi's thinking. In fact, Jedi was formed from two Dai Bendu words, Je meaning mystic and Dai meaning center. And Dai Bendu did maintain a separate culture as well, and Dai Bendu members were among the first Jedi Council members. Eventually, the Jedi formed into the modern Jedi Order, and the Dai Bendu gradually faded into obscurity over the millennia. So that's basically the Dai Bendu. There's maybe a little bit more if you want to go on Wikipedia or whatever, but that's the basic history. They're a fairly obscure group, but if it's been confirmed that they were predecessors to the Jedi, then they might have more significance. I've got to imagine we're going to go back to Ahch-To at some point and see the founding of the Jedi. So if the Dai Bendu are precursors to the Jedi, they must play some part in that. Also, as I said before, there may be some connection to the Bendu, and I've got to imagine we'll be exploring that at some point in some form. So that's kind of it, the Dai Bendu. So the original people to sort of explore the Force and their philosophy then influenced the creation of the Jedi Order, which seems to still be hinted at that that's still true in the canon. And that is it for my series on Force-using organizations. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do please subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on WordPress and Twitter, where I regularly post about Star Wars and other things there. But guys, thank you very much for watching.